Good afternoon, and welcome to the 9th video of the 14-day Skit challenge. This afternoon I will be reading you an extract from the novel that I started writing at the age of 11, which still isn't finished. It still exists in fragments that I wrote throughout my teen years, and I actually hope I will finish this year, if not next. It is a Bildungsroman set in 1545 during the last years of Henry VIII, and it follows the lives of three royal cousins who all have the Renaissance misfortune of being born a woman. And it is set against the backdrop of course, the Reformation and I suppose the early movements of the Counter-Reformation. This is a conversation between one of the cousins who is obliged to run away for having been a traitor to her uncle the king, and the young man who saved her life. They started off arguing as to who is more guilty, who carries more guilt in their life, and then Lord Joseph de Vere confesses that he once betrayed his best friend at school, who was a recusant Catholic. Now, he betrayed this best friend in trying to save his own family because there was a former servant of this best friend who's then serving de Vere's family who threatened to blackmail Joseph too. And this is the conversation that follows, which I think is actually quite a beautiful conversation. Both of them are rather problematic characters, but I think through each other they managed to grow. Timothy never went to New College. His family was arrested, and the priests they hid took the punishment reserved for all ministers of this faith. What happened to them then, I do not know. All their worldly goods were seized by the king and redistributed as he saw fit. When I inquired as to the master of the house, I was told it was a certain Lord Ipswich, Cornelia's father. But Timothy is ever gone. Even if he still lives, I'm sure he curses my name. If he is dead, then I sent him to hell, or heaven, or God knows where now, but I killed him. You killed him. I, and I alone. He swallowed, his chin up to the candlelight. I told my uncle, did I not? Even if it was not my uncle, or my father, it could have been Weechley, I am sure of it. He would have known what was afoot, and would have made the move desperately to squeeze out the last of Lord Dacre. When he said that it was too much, he would have done what he had promised, and received the reward for unmasking another infidel. I killed him. And you killed him out of fear for your family, if you did. But it was not you who killed Timothy Dacre, Joseph. It was I, he blazed and torrented at once, on the brink of collapse. Fraser stirred. Had I just twisted the truth, had I taken the beating, had you, said I, and he still would have died. You could only delay his death. No, Joseph, you did not kill Dacre. It is the lack of conscience on the part of greater men. It is the lack of compassion on the part of greater men. It is the lack of honour on the part of greater men, the lack of understanding, the lack of love, the lack of God on the part of greater men that killed your friend. And you were a boy who should have been a man. His voice cracked. Nevertheless, those men who will always act like boys could never be the near man that boy was. I took his chin boldly. De Vere, I understand your guilt. It is as my own. But we acted between hell and high water, and we acted from a pure heart. And if that does not deserve God's grace, I don't know what does. De Vere turned his head away, disgusted. I acted out of cowardice. Up until that moment you were brave, and it takes bravery even to explain to one's uncle that a manipulator forced him into a dishonourable act. De Vere managed a sardonic smile. You and I will never agree on this. If I could bring you Timothy, he would have said as I say now. You don't believe he would have spat at my feet? Does my family, do you think? Grant me the Rhenish, Isabel. Grant me your ears, sir, and let me guide your reason, not muddy it with wine. Or let me guide you to rest. You have o'erwrought yourself. I am never o'erwrought. I am much-tempered iron. I am a living traitor atoning every day for his sin. even if the sin is sending a traitor to the king to hell. I tried him. He said slowly, "There is sometimes more kindness and more conscience in traitors to God than traitors to the God in man. For God cares not how we love him, only that we do. Yes, and I sent his spirit to this man. I sent his spirit in this man to his doom, which he will not do for me." "No, Isabel." He smiled. "Try me as you might, you devil's advocate, devil's down, devil himself. I think I can see you and remember that Lucifer fell from heaven." And that is the end of that extract. If you do enjoy this, please comment, please send me a message, please tell me that you enjoyed this, and you know, I need as much support as I can get actually to finish this novel. So I'd be very, very pleased. It's possibly one of the extracts I'm most proud of. I try to weave in a lot of philosophy and a lot of thought into what I've written. I suppose it's a theological discussion, which I can't really weigh in on too much. What I want to say is that it's behind the theological discussion. Ultimately, it's a very spiritual discussion. It's very much about people having a right to their opinion, and it's very much about kindness, which is what I would say. Actually, I have no political opinion as such, or I have no convictions as such, other than I think people should be kind to each other. And ultimately that is why I'm doing this fundraiser, is the fact that the International Committee of the Red Cross, just all of the Red Cross organisations and all Red Crescent organisations out there, are ultimately neutral. They believe that everyone has a right to help if they need it. And so I don't believe that there are, there's specifically good guys and bad guys out there. I think everyone out there hurts and needs help. And also, everyone out there also needs to think on their actions, how they affect other people. Because we should be out there trying to make life a better place to be for each other, and not make it miserable. When we set out, we gain nothing from it. So, whereas I can't really comment on my own writing very well, I hope you understand the message. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, please donate to my fundraiser. There is a link available. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.